Well, I think there is in this country a war on religion. I think there is a desire to establish a religion in America known as secularism. And I know that based upon reports, the Obama administration gave this a lot of thought, a lot of discussion. This was not some little side issue that no one thought about. They gave it a lot of thought. And they decided to say that in this country, that a church, in this case the Catholic Church, would be required to violate its principles and its conscience and be required to provide contraceptives, sterilization, and morning after pills to the employees of the church. And that came as a shock. As I think it was Mike Huckabee said, we're now all Catholics. Those of us who are people of faith recognize this is attack on one religion is an attack on all religion. And it's one more reason why we need to get rid of Obamacare. It's also one more reason why we need to get rid of Obama. And
you know, speaking as a Catholic, I got to say how proud I am of Tim Dolan. You know, I mean, oh, man. It's pretty cool seeing the red hat on him, isn't it? You know, yeah. It's kind of small on his head, though, isn't it? Yeah. We love Tim. He's a really good guy. This is a political philosophy. And look, Jim and I debate this in Congress all the time. You know, I serve on the Ways and Means Committee, which is the primary committee that wrote this. And it's this belief that our rights, they don't come from God and nature like they say in the Declaration of Independence. They now come from government. And so if we're to have this new philosophy where we have government-granted rights, it's a new philosophy that says then it treats our constitutional rights as revocable privilege from our government rather than the inalienable rights from our Creator that our founders protected. And so if these new government-granted rights, such as health care, and in this particular, you know, health disease prevention is where this preventative measure, it's called preventative medicine. If this new government-granted right conflicts with our individual rights, like our First Amendment right to freedom of religious liberty, freedom of conscience, then it trumps it, then it crowds it out. If the president is willing to do this kind of a controversial mandate, which they did give great thought to, they met with Tim Dolan a couple of times, he made it really clear, you'll shut down Catholic hospitals, Catholic charities, Catholic churches, not to mention the schools and things like this, not to mention you're making people violate their own doctrine, their own religious teaching. If that's what this president is willing to do in a tough election year, imagine what he'll do after the election if he never has to face the voters ever again in fulfilling the rest of Obamacare.
yeah, he'd have more flexibility.
Yeah, that's what's so scary about this thing. So yeah, more flexibility. Yeah, isn't it unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a moment where we have to reassert our constitutional rights. Our rights that are ours as individuals before government. And if we embrace this philosophy the president is asking for, then we're giving him our power that we have as individuals. And we should never give our government that kind of power.